Morning. You hear some funny noises. I'm just cutting the mask out. So I've changed my mind as to what I'm doing. Just before I press the live button, which is just typical. And now I want a mask. So how are we all this fine Sunday morning? The sun is shining in Milton Keynes, so it's going to be a good day. Morning, Annette. So I thought we'd do another live with the Fairy Hugs collection. We're going to use mostly the new collection, but some older stamps too. Just really because I can't stop using them. I'm really hooked on this latest collection. I mean, I love the book collection, but I think sometimes it depends on whether I've got time, and I'm not starting my prep for Saturday shows until tomorrow. So I've given myself a few more days to play with Fairy Hugs. And let's face it, who needs to do housework? Who wants to do housework when there's lots of lovely stamps to play with? Morning, Sue. Let's see who's jumped on there. Debbie, hi. Yes, I'm good. I'm good. A few aches and pains, as always. But that's what getting older's about, isn't it? Dealing with. So you can see I'm just cutting out a mask here. So I've stamped the keyhole onto a piece of woodware masket sheet because I've got an innie, so I've got a keyhole that I can look through, but I want an outie as well. So I want to be able to mask an area off. I only actually need the top, but I don't know why I'm cutting it all out. But hey ho, there we go. That one's all cut out, ready to use. Hello, Nancy. Heather. Good morning, Maureen. I'm just fine and dandy. Now, where is the other stamp I need? I need another stamp from my stash. So this is how I'm storing my Fairy Hug stamps. This is the new collection here. Yeah, there we go, catching me up. This is my new collection, so I haven't filed it into the appropriate boxes yet. This box is just for this size stamp, so it's the medium size stamp, and I've got my numbers, so my FHS number, and I've got my description there. So what I can normally do is just look up on my website, the name, and then I'll find the number and I'll be able to find things quicker. But of course, I'm not doing that now, am I? I know roughly which, in fact, it's not this size. Oh, what am I on? I need a biggie. I haven't got a posh box for my biggies. My biggies are in a normal box. But I've got all my super size ones in here as well as my biggies. So I know. Look at all these. Aren't I lucky? Looky, that's what I want. My stone wall. Number 63. I do love my Fairy Hug stamps. Oh, sorry camera. Sorry camera. Move those out of the way. Goodness knows what will happen when I've got to go into new boxes. So to start off, I thought what we'd do is redo one of the ones I made a heck of a mess of. I'm not even going to show you it because it's so embarrassing, because my stamps moved when I was demoing them on the TV. But it's quite a nice layout, so I thought we'd do it. Super organised. Do you know, Maureen, I spend so long trying to find things that I have to be. I need to reorganise my Fairy Hug stock because it takes me a while to sort through my stock to pick my orders. So I really need to do something about that too. But when there's a lot, it's quite difficult. So what we're going to do first of all is let's see. We want Amia. This is a Studio Light tag. This is the Oriental tag from the tag die set, which unfortunately I still haven't managed to get some more stock of. It's really frustrating because if you search for Studio Light distributors in the UK, you end up with loads of Studio Light type distributors as opposed to dies. So we're going to have Amia there, and she reaches up to the hearts banner, which is going to be up there. And what she's going to stand on is the keyhole, the top of it. Oh, let's just shut the door. There we go. So Nathan knows he can't come in. Oops. Right. So yeah, she's going to stand on the top of the keyhole. So let's get that sorted. That'll be over on this side here. And my background is just one of my oxide backgrounds. And I'm starting to put, I've done one, videos onto my YouTube channel, which are non-Facebook Lives. All the Facebook Lives go onto my YouTube channel anyway. I don't want it over there, I want it here. Don't talk and think, Julia, it doesn't work. Yes, I'm trying to get some things onto my YouTube channel. So I uploaded a video yesterday, so I will actually put one, set one up that's just the background, so that if you want to watch just like a 5-minute jobby, then you can, and you don't have to kind of figure out which of the 40-minute or hour-long ones you want to watch. So I will do that. I did put one up yesterday. Yeah, so it'd be lovely if you subscribed. I know a lot of you are already subscribed to my YouTube channel, because I will be populating that a lot more when I have time. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with the kind of merge or the acquisition of the craft, Crate and Craft by the craft store. We don't know whether it's going to change the number of live TV hours I have or not. Because obviously we don't know what's going to happen with the channels yet. So I thought I'd try and do more YouTube videos when I get a chance, because then I can just do them when I want to. So just doing the stone wall here, just not stone wall, the keyhole at the top. So there's just a little area for her to stand on. That's all we're using of the keyhole this time. I know, it's wonderful, isn't it, Diane? I do actually really love my fairy hug stamps, and I just feel so lucky. Can't wait for the next collection. Right, so what we're going to do here, which is why I wanted the mask, is rather than just have that, I mean, you could have that kind of coming out of whatever area you want it to, but let's move these over here now. Get a bit of insurance policy going on. 97 million magnets. I thought what we'd bring in is the stone wall. Oh, I can't do that, can I? Because I've got to put the mask on. Do you know, I didn't get up till 9 o'clock. So I'm a little bit out of sorts. Where's my mask? There it is. So we only need the top, but obviously we've got to use the whole thing if I can get the back off. And it's a good idea to store it back on its backing. Because then you don't lose the sticky. It's coming now. Doesn't help though, I'll cut my nails. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to pop this. Obviously I've still got that, I've got those little lines there. I can't do anything about those lines. That's there. And that's talk amongst yourselves. That's it, that's on. Right. Then we're going to bring in the stone wall, which is one of the early stamps. So this is number 63. And we're just going to extend that. It's only a tiny bit. It's only a tiny bit, but it gives us a bit of, like I say, extension. Let's have it. Where's it going to go? Let's have it there. Like that. It's the little details. I think mine needs a clean. Now, I always forget out which bit I have to ink. I only need to ink that little bit there. I normally end up inking the whole thing because, you know, if I actually just do the bit I need, quite often I get the wrong side. Because my brain doesn't work very well sometimes. There we go. Give that a good old press. And I am using the Nocturne VersaFine Clair as always. So that's that. So now if we remove the mask, we've got an extension of the wall down there. Right, let's put this back on its carrier sheet as near as I can and get rid of my stone wall. So that's the base for her to stand on. Oh, I lost the backing sheet of that. Just go in there. So that's those two. Now we can move over a bit, I think. You watch, I'll have to move it. Think, oh no, I've got to move it again. Right, so now we can bring in Amia. Bring her in first. And she's going to be just... It doesn't matter, actually, if they don't actually touch the wall, because they've got wings. So it could be that she's fluttering up to catch the little hearts. There were only 4 new fairies in this release, which is, I don't know how many we normally have actually, but it felt like there weren't many. But that's probably actually as many as we had in the book release, because we had Kira and Olivia, and we had Lorella. Did we have any more? I can't actually think of any more actually. So actually, yeah. Probably was about the same as usual. Thank you, little fairy. I did get in more stock. Some of the items went out of stock virtually immediately, as always, because as soon as my stock goes live, obviously those that know, because I've already got the stuff in stock, they think, oh, I can get it quicker, get it from Julia, which is lovely. You have to be very quick for the initial stock, but I did get another delivery in on Friday, so that was very quick. But the keyhole is looking a bit vulnerable again, so if you're after the keyhole, do grab that. So there's Amia. I mean, some of the design team have had it so that she's like throwing up some of the ladybugs onto the bleeding heart tree, which is a nice project to do. She can be throwing all sorts of things, couldn't she? She could be throwing the little condo dwellers. Okay, so that's that. And then we're bringing the hearts banner. This is where I made a mess last time on my hearts banner. So this time I may not, even if I don't stamp it very well, I may not go twice, just in case. So we're going to bring in the banner up here. It doesn't quite go to the edge, which is fine, because we could bring in a Pigment Micron pen if we were actually that concerned about it. Or we could actually take it right to the neck. Let's take it right to the neck of the tag instead. Ink pad, there it is. Tap, 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 tap. And give it a good old press. I mean, I'm not going to colour this in. I would add a little bit of colour probably to the hearts, definitely to the stone wall and the top of the keyhole, and I would colour in Amia's wings as well. But I'll do that, as always, I'll do that afterwards. See, it moved. Little tinker. Do you know, honestly, I'm doomed with this particular stamp. Shall I do it? Because it's not dark enough, is it? That has, yeah. It's not like if I'm doing a YouTube video, what I can do now is like just turn it off and start all over again. Can't do that on a Facebook Live. Give it a good old press. Do you know what I should do? I should actually stamp it off first of all on and put a spare piece of card, just to make sure my stamp is nice and inky. Then I should bring my tag back in again. So position it, stamp it off, bring the tag back in again, and then stamp it. That's what I should do. So do as I say, don't do as I do. That's better. I got away with that. Got away with that. Happy with that. And when I edge with some ink, then it'll go over those bits, so I won't need to put any extra pigment micron pen on to extend the line. That'll be fine. Yeehaw. Right, I can put the other one in the bin now. I'm not showing you that one. Oh, I meant to put some stencil stuff on here. Let's put some stencil stuff on. We go around the... Normally I do it on first. But I told you my brain's not in today. It's disappeared. It's gone somewhere else. It's not good doing a Facebook Live when your brain's not in, is it, really? Let's have a little bit of a stencil. So we could let's bring in... Yeah, this is a little one. We could bring in this one. And... So I'm not clean my brushes. So bringing it. Should we have picked raspberry? No. Let's have a bit of spice marmalade. No, I don't want that one. This isn't a spice marmalade one. Is that orangey? That's orangey. That'll do. Make sure you have to make sure your hearts are the right way up on this one. And obviously I've got to be quite careful because my ink will be wet underneath. It's only a little suggestion, but you can barely see it. I don't want to scrub too much because I'll smudge my ink. Just a hint in the background. You think, why should she bother doing that? Can't see it. Right. Next. It's still not as crisp as I'd like it to be, but it's got to do. Step away from the tag, Julia. So we want a sentiment. So let's have a fairy delightful day, which is number 133. So it's from a couple of releases ago. Put this back in the corner again. Because it's a tag, it's harder to line it up. That's my excuse anyway. So let's have this down here. These make great bookmarks. This is the largest but one of the Studio Light dies, and they do make great bookmarks. I've sent a load to Catherine, my daughter. I sent her loads of the book style release. And there's one with Magoo on it as well, the dragon. Which had to be a bigger one because he's quite a big dragon. Don't move, don't move, don't move. There we go. Okay, we go with that. Won't risk another one. And then at the top, because we want something up there so it doesn't look all bare. In fact, I know what I'll do. Let's bring in something else. I wonder if we should. Yes, let's bring in a couple of condo dwellers as well, because we can. I want them flying. We don't have to, actually. Let's have one coming there. We could have one down here. This one stands up like so, and we could have one flying in up here as well. They kind of fill in the gaps, the little condo dwellers. They're so cute. So I've got Condo Dwellers 2 in stock, but Condo Dwellers 1, though it was in stock when I ordered it, there must have been so many sold at end of call on the craft store that there weren't any. So it won't be until my next order that I'll get some Condo Dwellers 1, which might be about, well, it could be over a month. It depends. It depends, because I obviously have to make, because I have to pay shipping from the States. I have to make sure that I get a decent size order before I place my order. So there's my little condo dwellers, filling in my gaps. Are you all right? You're not nodding off? Not many comments coming through. Unless Facebook's playing up, like it quite often does. Condo Dwellers 2 has 6 fairies rather than 5 that one has, so it's quite a good value little set, that one. The next one, and we'll just finish off the top. And so we're going to take the vine heart frame. In fact, let's take it out of here altogether. My scrappy piece of card, paper rather, just so I don't have to clean up. And pop this onto an acrylic block, which I put somewhere. Where's the acrylic block that I want to use? There it is. So we're just going to use the top of the hearts. This is your vine heart frame. Make sure I get plenty of ink on it, because I'm going freehand. Going to go so I need to see where I'm going. I'm going to go so it's about there. Okay, so that just frames the top, and then we just add a little bit of, just because I can't be bothered to get out an orange ink, we add a little bit of Kitsch Flamingo oxide around the edge, and I'll colour this in later. Hopefully I won't smudge everything. It just kind of finishes it off if you edge it. And then we can pop it onto the tag. I say I'll colour it in afterwards, and by the time this is on YouTube, when I share the YouTube link, you'll see what it's like all coloured in. But we can stick it down now, it's fine. And just colour it in afterwards. Some of the Sentimental Yours glue. And the card that I'm going on, which I tend to just use this for everything, is my oh, it says I've ended. Have I ended? No, I haven't. Oh, Facebook's playing up. Let's just stick this down and ignore it, because I can see I'm still going. I had a bit of trouble watching Phil's video yesterday, actually. It kept on buffering a bit. So it makes all the difference when you put it on on a black backing, it does look absolutely fab. A good old press. Do be careful actually when you do kind of turn it over to make sure that it sticks. Don't run your finger around this outside edge because it cuts. It's quite sharp. So I think that'll make a really nice bookmark at some point. So we will colour that in at the end. So number 2, and so like I say, this is the dice that I was using, the Oriental tags from Studio Light. I'll keep on trying to see if I can get some more, but in the meantime, if you see it anywhere, this is my favourite. I use this all the time. It doesn't come on a magnetic sheet because none of Studio Lights do, but there's another tag set which I do have in stock, which is this one from Sample, Creative Expressions. This is your Shabby Basics tattered tags, and I have got a little project. We'll see how we go for time. I have got a little project that I can put on one of these, but we'll see how we get on. So next we're going to do a bigger tag. So this is, oh, stamps everywhere. This is the biggest size tag from the set. And what have I done with my... Do you know, I drive myself absolutely mad looking for my little reinforcers that I cut out and I put somewhere safe to use. So that one might have to go on. I might not stick this one down until I've got that one, because I cut them out at the same time as I cut the tag out. But anywho, that doesn't matter, does it? Just move on, Julia. My mask is sticking down to something I don't want it to. Right, okay. So we're going for kind of, I know there's peacock feathers in here somewhere. Again, it's an oxide background. So let's try and remember that we want to put a stencil on. So this time we're going for the Flower Vines stencil from Fairy Hooks. And I think we'll use a green so it stands out. I think I've got green on this one, on this brush. Let's just check. Yeah, it's green on this one. So we go for Rustic Wilderness. And so I'm just going to put it kind of around the edges. All the stencils are 6x6, which is a really not good size. And I was quite heavy-handed with this when I did my YouTube video. But this is a dark background anyway. Okay, that's nice, isn't it? And we have some down on the other side as well. I'm not worried about lining it up or anything like that, because this one you can't really. I just want to get a little bit of interest going on rather than just having plain edges. And I am, again, using Distress ink rather than oxide, because I prefer to stamp on top of Distress than oxide. That's nice, happy with that. Yeah, I really love this. All the tags on Studio Light are really good dies, and I think because I had them on in a one-day special, and I think Lou had them on one of her shows, and we've not seen them since. But the thing is with Studio Light, they tend to not rerun their dies once they've gone out of stock. That's it. I'm not too sure about these though, because this is like a staple shape. So I will speak to the guy who owns Studio Light this week and see, and also ask him about if there's another stockist where I can get them from. Because of Brexit, I don't tend to import things directly myself, because it just complicates VAT and things like that. Right, so we're going to go into our stamping platform now again. I do like that on that background. That looks fabulous, that Flower Vine stencil, doesn't it? It's a happy, it's not an accident, but it's a happy Happy combo, that's what it is, happy combo. Right, so, have I got what I need there? Yes, I haven't lost it. Right, okay. So we're going to take the Maze Garden, and the Maze Garden sold out on the craft store really quickly, so I didn't actually get to demonstrate it, and it's an absolutely beautiful stamp. I mean, I can see lots of different ways of just using part of it. So just using that top section would be wonderful, and you could actually create like a pattern build with it. I mean, it's almost like the wings of a butterfly, isn't it? That so that would work. And also, hang on a minute. I've just thought what you could bring in is where are they? The funky shroom. How would it look if you replace that for a funky shroom? So you could have a funky shroom maze instead. Lots of possibilities, lots of possibilities. Put that back. Right, so we're going to have that. And remember, the stone walkway works really well with this. It works very well with the Love Shack baby. And obviously it was going to work with the stone castle. That's one I haven't got. Oh, I have got the stone castle. I'm fibbing. It works very well with the stone castle and also the mini castle as well. So you can see you can lead up to the maze like that. But we're not going to use this one. We're going to use something else because we can. Because Fairy Hugs gives us that. So let's stamp this beautiful maze garden first of all. And we'll have it about there, I think. Yes, it's about even, isn't it? Straightish. Let's have another magnet there, because we can. Right, stamp this. Just checking you're still there. Oh, just put my finger in my ink pad. That was a daft thing to do, wasn't it? And then I licked my fingers, so I've probably got a black tongue. Oh dear. It should be a day off, shouldn't it, Sunday? I never get a day off. I had 3 days off at Christmas and that was it. Right, tap, 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 tap. Give this a really nice press. This looks, again, I'm not going to colour this in now, but this looks fabulous coloured in. That's pressing. I will need to do it again, I know that for a fact. I don't want it to move. Don't move. Yeah, no, it hasn't. Isn't that pretty? It's just it's a real, I mean, obviously I'm going for tags because it's to do with how I store them, and also the fact that my daughter can have some bookmarks. So I tend to go for journal pages, or I go for tags, or I go for little A6 cards. Generally, that's what I tend to do. But obviously on square cards, lots of the design team, the Fairy Hugs design team, do square cards, and so this would suit a square card really well. And if you're not already, I know lots of you have joined this past week. If you're not already a member of the Fairy Hugs store Facebook group, do join that. And I will keep pushing my YouTube channel because I really would like very much to get some more subscribers on there. So that's just look for Julia Watts on YouTube and you'll find me. There we go. Lovely and dark. Beautiful image. I mean, they are such that you don't need to colour in if you don't want to. Like I say, especially if you're using a coloured background like this one, you don't need to colour it in. I like to get my Sentimental Yours watercolour blending brush pens out and just add a little bit of colour, and it does make them pop. And again, I will colour this in for where I share the YouTube link later. Get off. magnet stuck to my bracelet. Be careful when you take this one off, because obviously it's a bit narrower here. So just take it off your block or your platform carefully, so you don't, because you don't want to rip it. So that's your maze garden. And then we're going to bring in, put that to one side a minute. Then we're going to bring in our Path of Knowledge. So this was from the book release. So instead of using the stone walkway, we're going to use the Path of Knowledge instead. So that's going to lead up to the maze garden, like so. So if you, I don't know if you can see, but it's just a load of books. Just a load of books, but it is loads of books making a pathway. This is the beauty of being of having the whole collection. And I haven't got every single Fairy Hug stamp, but I've got most of them. There was one collection that I didn't do on TV, so some of that collection I don't have. It was from January last year. And some of the ones before Fairy Hugs hit the TV, I don't have, but I've got most of them. And so it's wonderful to kind of think, oh, when was that from? I know what would work with that. And you can go into your box of stamps and pull them out and see how they mix and match. And it is true, you know, I don't just say it for the benefit of trying to get you to buy on the TV. The collections do work together, and it just makes, as your collection grows, it makes the stamps more value for money. I mean, they're not cheap stamps, because obviously they come over from the States, so there's and they're individual stamps as well, so, and they're photopolymer, so they're not the cheapest stamps in the world. But for me, it's never about how much they cost. The value is in how many times you can use them and how many different combos you can use them. So there we've got our book pathway leading up to our maze garden. It looks really cool, doesn't it? Really works. No, once again, if you add a little bit of colour to it, that's going to work. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring in Kira, and Kira's going to be sat under the maze, and she's going to be reading her book, because she can. And you can also bring in Olivia. I have done one with Olivia as well. She reads a book. I'll show you in a little while, because I think it's one I'm going to do as a YouTube video, but I've had a go at it already. Either that or I might do a series of Facebook Lives. I don't know, really. It's difficult to know what I want to do. So we're going to just add a sentiment to this. And because we're on a book theme, we're going to bring in the relax sentiment. So this sentiment reads, you can find magic wherever you look. Just sit back and relax. All you need is a book. Which is very true, isn't it? You lose yourself into the whatever's going on in your book. But this is too big to fit in my tag, so we're going to do a little bit of cheeky little masking. So first of all, we're going to do, because it's like 2 words. Obviously, you've got 2 choices. See, I could, because I've obviously got this in stock, I could cut the stamp into 2 pieces, and I'd have 2 different stamps, and then take another stamp out of stock and have it as a whole. Or I can do a little bit of masking, and I'm going to do masking at this point. I need to just stand up, look around the camera and see if I can get it straight. That looks straight to me. Move that out of the way. Let's bring in another magnet up the top. You can see how paranoid I am about things moving. And we're going to mainly concentrate on inking the top of the stamp. And I'm going to take one of these sticky notes. could be a small one, but this is the only size I've got. And we're going to just mask just under the word look. So the first sentence we're going to mask off there like that. Okay, so when we stamp, we're only going to get the first sentence. I want it darker than that. So don't do what I did and just start inking again. Take your mask off, then ink. Pop your mask back on again. Make sure it's adhered. And then you can stamp again. Okay, so it's nice and dark. Because we're doing with a dark background, we need to make sure that everything's nice and dark. Then what you want to do is bring in, and you can do this, you can use your acetate that comes with the stamp. And you can take your stamp. I might need to move this down a bit. I want to pop that on my acetate. Bring my acetate in again, and I need the second part. It's very hard to do it around a camera, so it might not be 100% straight. So, sit back, relax, and all you need is a book. Okay, so now we can pick that up. I've got a magnet somewhere in the way. Right, remove the acetate. It's a little bit of a long-winded thing to do. Ink up the bottom of the stamp, the second sentence, and then you put your mask over the top and stamp the second piece. Take that off again, ink up the bottom, and stamp that. Okay. So there's our sentiment. It's really easy to do. It is worth the patience, isn't it? And it's you know, I might want to pull one other one from stock, but you know, you don't have to. You don't have to buy two, do you? It is doable, and it is easy to split it. Sometimes when a stamp is too tall and you want to split it into two pieces, sometimes it's a little bit trickier than that. So that's our relaxed sentiment. So I'm just going to add a little bit of extra detail to this. Down the bottom. I mean, I could, to be honest, I could leave it like that. Or what we could do is we could bring in some of this whimsical flower cluster and add some of that. But, you know, I'm not going to, actually, I think. I think I might leave it like that. And all I would do is stamp Kira and fussy cut her out and then pop her beneath the maze like that. So I think I won't use the flower cluster on this one. Where's my tag gone? So obviously I'm not going to stick this. I would edge this in, probably in Lucky Clover, I think. Because I tend to go for Lucky Clover because it's on my little dauber. And add some colour. And there's another lovely tag bookmark kind of piece. It is a big one. I mean, Catherine did say to me when I sent these, gosh, they're huge. But see, some stamps don't actually fit. Like Magoo doesn't fit on the small one. The Fairy Library doesn't fit on the small one. So you've got no choice, really. You've got to use the big one. But I don't think it really needs anything else because we've got that stencil in the background. I think that's good to go as is. Right, so that's that one. A bit of colouring to do. So let's do this one that I've got that on this shabby tag. Because obviously this is not normally what I'm used to. Normally we've got the mats and layers with the studio light, but because I can't get those, let's see if this could work. So this is the, as I showed you, this is the shabby, the tattered tags from the Shabby Basics from Sample at Creative Expressions, and I've used, this is the largest of the tags. So the largest tag measures in real money, which is inches for me. It measures 6 1/4 inches by about 3 1/8 in width. So it's still a really good size, and you get with this one, because obviously you go down to really, really tiny ones that, you know, so that's great for little sentiments, isn't it? And that one's great for your gifts as well as this one here. But because you've got different sizes, you've got 2 different sizes of reinforcers, as you do with Studio Light. But with this one, you've got like a tatty reinforcer, and you've got well, it's not complete. It doesn't look like a complete circle. It probably is. And then you've got circular ones there that have got straight edges. So you've got a choice there as to what you use. So once again, we're on an oxide background. This has probably got mustard seed on it, which is quite hard to get actually at the moment. I mean, I know it's a little bit mucky on the back, but, you know, you probably put this on a card, maybe. I don't know. Or you can just ink over that, can't you? Anyway. Let's go into our platform. I mean, what I probably would do would be to definitely ink around the edges in black. You know, just drag the VersaFine Clear around the edge. So we do that maybe at the end. So again, this is going to go into my platform. Again, it's super smooth card from Sentimentally Yours. I like that one because my pens move, my watercolour pens move really easily on it. Do I want to do any... oh yeah, let's add some stencil work first. I don't know why I keep forgetting my stencils. I think it's because we don't often get new stencils from Fairy Hooks, and I think that's why I'm tending to forget. That's my excuse anyway. So decisions. Oh, let's go for this one. And let's bring in, let's go for Spice Marmalade, because I think that would be nice. Let's have a bit of a spiral going on up there. Yep. And let's have a little bit, we'll just do the 2 top and bottom corners, that's what we do. I want the smaller ones rather than the bigger ones. Yeah, that's nice, I like that. That's Spice Marmalade, again Distress ink, as per. I haven't fallen out with my oxides. I do like my oxides. It's just that, see, when you stamp, sometimes when you stamp with VersaFine Clear or Archival, when it falls off of an area that's got oxide on it, the oxide area will be a different colour to the area where the oxide isn't, and I don't like that. It's all a matter of choice. I'm not saying to you that if you haven't got Distress, you should buy Distress, but because I've got both, I can choose. The difference is that an oxide is a pigment and dye-based ink, and a Distress ink is just a dye-based ink. That's the kind of difference. So we're going to go to the Love Shack Baby. This is a very tiny little tag, this, in comparison, so you don't have to bring in the wooden fence on this one. So we're going to pop this in here. Oh. bracelet sticking to the magnets. So we stick that there like so. Lovely cottage. This is great for new home cards, any sort of scene kind of building. Goes very well with the Fairy Berry set. That's the new one in this release too. The detail on it is absolutely beautiful, and again I'll probably add some colour to it. Actually, because of the colour that I've got in my background, I probably don't need to do much as far as the thatched roof is concerned, although just to make it stand out I might bring in one of the kind of mustard yellows from set 4 of the watercolour blending brush pens. You've got the detail on the roof there, you've got the beams, you've got little flowers. It's a really beautiful stamp, which I need to just go again. I'm going to try dye, as I said at the beginning of the live. The stockist that I use in the UK hasn't had any since I got the first 2 orders in from her, and I can't find another stockist in the UK. So I'll speak to Studio Light this week, and also speak to the stockist and see if they're available. It may be that there aren't any at Studio Light, and she can't get any more, because they have been very popular. And as I also said, Studio Light sometimes don't have another run, but again I will ask that question and find out whether they will, because it's like a staple shape. But I do have the this one. I do have this tag set in stock, and I'll be ordering some more tonight when I place my order with Creative Expressions. So if there's any of the new woodware release that you want, or any of the older woodware special order items, if you get your order in today, then I'll order tonight. So there's our love shack, and we are going to use the stone walkway on this one. It will work absolutely with the path of knowledge again, because it's a pathway. You could probably use, in fact that's probably a bit big actually, we've got the wooden walkway. Oh, put that one out as well. We've got the wooden walkway, but that's bigger, so that will work actually, the wooden walkway, but we've got stone there, so that's why I'm going for the stone walkway. So I think I need to move this over a bit, because it's going to go off of the page on this side, like so. Because you've got a bigger step, and then you've got the walkway coming down, like so. Will I let you know? I'll let everybody know if I can get some. So make sure that you're subscribing to my emails and newsletter on my website, because I do try and look after my email subscribers first. I do try and do that. And also sometimes there's special offers that go to email subscribers only, and sometimes special offers start with email subscribers first, so you can get in there first. There's a pop-up on my website when you go on it, and it asks you if you want to subscribe. But just to reiterate, if there's anybody watching out of the UK, I do only ship to UK addresses. Again, it's a Brexit and VAT thing. There we go. So there's our little stone walkway coming out of our love shack. Baby. Right, so put that away. This is a well-used stamp, the stone walkway. Just like the path of knowledge, really. That's a well-used stamp. So, I don't need to add much to this because it's not a very, very big tag, which also means that I'll be quicker colouring in. I thought we'd bring in, we've got this snail family. Catherine likes snails. She's not been very well, so I hope this one's for her, really. So we can bring in a snail, perhaps that there. And we're hoping that the snail isn't actually going to eat those lovely flowers that are in front of the cottage, because that would be rude. And because we're dealing with a bit of kind of depth perspective, I suppose, we can have the bigger one here and we can have that one there. I mean, I think they're shouting to each other across the pathway, these little snails. You can bring in the ladybugs. You can bring in any of the animals that we've got with fairy hugs. There's quite a few animals now. And let's get the snails on there. Again, great little bookmark. I mean, if you wanted to, what you could do on the other side is, maybe we'll do it, how are we doing, 56, it's not too bad. I'll show you what you could do on the other side. Again, the detail again on these stamps is just tremendous. And you don't, although the packaging's very good, you don't get the detail until you actually stamp them out. I'm really heavy-handed when I ink. But it doesn't matter because they are deeply etched, high-grade photopolymer. So the stamps do all the work for you. It's just absolutely wonderful. I'm not a big snail fan because they you know, if you've got young shoots of vegetables and flowers, they do eat them. So I'm not a massive snail fan. But it's nice to use them. I've got them, so I'll use them. Right. Where's the package gone? There it's gone. Snails. That's why in a minute. So we're going to bring in for the sentiment. Obviously, again, not that many are going to fit. And we're not doing a book theme necessarily on this. So there's sending you fairy dust wishes, which is quite nice, little sentiment. I think this might have been from the Christmas release. I think. My memory serves. Let's pop that one up there. Sending you fairy dust wishes. Is that going to be straight? Yep. I mean, if you wanted to make it kind of book themed, you could of course bring in, I've only got Kira here, but you could bring in Kira. She could be sat there, but she's a little bit big, isn't she? Or she could be sat on the roof. That would kind of work, wouldn't it? Sat on the roof reading. So if you wanted to make it book themed, you absolutely can. So you can see all the different combos you can do with these. And sometimes it's quite handy just having a few of the fairies cut out, because you can move them around and see where they might fit. Of course, that's where the acetate comes in as well, because you can just use the acetate to position things around and figure out what's going to work. Right, so there's my fairy dust wishes. I think it's just that one scene, the first one I did, that I have trouble with things moving. There's something about that scene. Maybe it's just spooky that it moves on that particular scene. Okay. Right, so there's my, what's it? So I could stop there, but of course we're dealing with fairies here, so it wouldn't be right if we didn't have a fairy here, there and everywhere. So let's bring in a couple of condo dwellers. So we can have a condo dweller there, and we can have perhaps that one that sits on the edge. I don't think I can get another one in, so I think we're only going to have two on this one. She's great, she is, because she just sits, she stands everywhere. I am going to try, when I'm not busy doing shows, I am going to try and get a regular Sunday morning Facebook Live going, so at this time every Sunday. So I'll do one next Sunday as well. I will, in the meantime, be doing one on Friday at 11 AM as well, as a bonus, because we're launching a new collection from Sentimentally Yours. Phil's launching it on Friday at 6 PM in a one-day special, and he's doing the 8 PM and the 8 AM on the Saturday, and then I've got the 12 and 4 on the Saturday to do. So I've missed a bit of a leg somehow. So I will do one on Friday as well, but I've got loads of more fairy hugs, and also I want to bring in some Sentimentally Yours journal pages, you know, the journal stamps, and also some indigo blue. So there's lots of different ideas that I've got that I want to share with you. So those are Condo Dwellers. I'll put those away in a moment. And so we would finish this off with, I'll pick it up, which I can't, one of the scruffy reinforcers at the top, and that would be our tag. Well, June, you're just going to have to re-watch, aren't you, from the beginning? It'll be on YouTube later as well. So this is the third tag that we've done. So very quickly, before I stick that on, let's have a look at what we could do on the back. Just if we're doing this as a tag for somebody, so that this is like a reading tag. So obviously we've got all this ink on the back here, and we want to kind of cover that up. So let's bring in some fossilised amber, or we might bring in mustard seed actually, if I can find it. And we actually got, oh, sorry, me and my chair, mustard seed oxide. Take the top off that, just to show you what you can do, just to hide this, because obviously this is where I've put my two pieces of card together when I've done my background, and we've had a bit of squelching going on. It's a little bit of texture, it's interesting, but it's not what we want. It's not a neat end or finish to this. So obviously you need to be careful that you don't move this around too much, because you don't want to mess up the other side. And of course, don't put this in a book until it's dry, because oxides have an open time, don't they? About 10 minutes or so, just like distress ink. So that's my yellow down. Give that a like so, and then what we can just do is bring in a stencil. So let's just bring in the one that we've used on the other side, so there's a little bit of continuity between them, and we can almost do the whole thing if we position it that way round. So we want a spice marmalade, and I'll make it quite dark so we can see it. So we go in distress on top of oxide. I haven't done this before, so I'm hoping that it works nicely. It does, doesn't it? So we could have just a little bit of extra just down in the corners, so it looks like it's supposed to be there. So there's our background. And I'd cut another reinforcer out to go on the back as well. Such a mess to tidy up. Let's clean this up a bit. So one more thing that we'll add to it, and then we'll be finished. Is to go into our platform again. And we just put on the back. Oh, let's get rid of our little condo dwellers. Pop that in there like so. We'll leave that all at the top there. And we just pop the between pages sentiment, and we just pop it. In fact, let's have it in the middle, because there's no reason why it can't go in the middle. It can be at the bottom, at the top, wherever you want. Because obviously, I mean, if this is going in, matted and layered onto a card, you wouldn't need to bother with this. But if you're going as a bookmark, I mean, when we're using the Studio Light ones, it doesn't matter because we've matted onto black, because you've got the different layers, but this one doesn't have different layers, so it's nice to finish it off so that the recipient or whoever's reading can have something finished. And it's all about the details, isn't it? It's all about finishing off. And you can see that the oxide has gone on very nicely all over that inked background, because it was oxide sprays, so you're going oxide onto oxide, so it works out absolutely fine. And I'm not worried about stamping onto oxide here because the whole area was covered in the Distress Oxide ink, so my initial kind of argument about it doesn't apply on this particular thing. So there we are. So we've got two sides to that one, and we'll stick that on there like so. Let's just quickly do it as we finish off. Let's have it on the right side. Like I say, I'd cut another one of these out and put it on the other side and run some baker's twine through it, and then there's a really nice bookmark, or you could add some ribbon obviously. Oops. And pop that on there like so. Okay, so we'll bring in our 3 projects from today, wherever they've gone. Here they are. So we've got this one that I've got to finish. Why have I got to finish this? Oh yes, because I want to stick the tag, the little reinforcer on before I actually stick the tag on, so that it all fits nicely. And I'm going to colour that one in. I'm going to colour them all in afterwards. So we've got 3 tags there. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope it's kind of given you some ideas of what you can do with your Fairy Hug stamps. Don't forget, I've got them all in stock at the moment on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, for shipping to UK addresses. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully be able to join me on Friday at 11 AM with a look at the new Sentimental Yours collection. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.